Hey guys, what's up? It's Greg Srisdavasdi with the CinemAddicts Podcast. Predator, Killer of Killers. It's a weird name. Killer of Killers. What are they killing? Who's killing who? It's a predator, so it must be the predator killing everything, right? Well, not really. So this is a very interesting animated feature. It's directed by Dan Trachtenberg with Joshua Wassung. He's the head or maybe supervising head. I don't know the specific position over at the animation studio, the third floor. They've done a great job with this animation project, Predator, Killer of Killers. And as you know, Dan Trachtenberg is the director behind the hit Hulu film and just an amazing installment in the Predator franchise, that movie Prey from a couple of years ago. Just a great movie. Now, here's the thing. With all that great momentum from Prey, is Predator, Killer of Killers, does it continue that momentum? Does it go a couple of steps behind? Well, quick answer, absolutely not. The momentum is not stopped or it's not stalled by this installment. In fact, I think it goes up another level. Not saying it's better than Prey, it's just completely different than Prey because you get so many more stories with this installment packed into one. And it's going to be a spoiler-free review, and I'm just going to give you a couple of plot details and then give you my reaction of Predator, Killer of Killers. Ultimately, I'm just going to go with the IMDb plot summary where I'm not going to read it verbatim, but essentially you have three main, well, it says Killer of Killers, right? You have three main killers. The first killer is from the Valkyrie times. There's a Viking raider. She's teaching her son the ways of how to be a Viking, and she has a very big motivation in her story, okay? And while she's teaching her son how to be a warrior, how to be a proper Viking and bloodthirsty Viking and brave Viking, she, as a Viking raider, has her own real motives of revenge. And you'll get to see with that first installment, why is she such a bloodthirsty and brave warrior? Okay, so that's the first installment. Second installment is set in feudal Japan. It's a brother story, brothers who are close at the beginning, but then obviously there is maybe a split in feudal Japan. One of them stays very powerful, becomes a warrior, okay? Their father basically is not the nicest guy in the world. So these brothers, once they were close, now they've been split apart. Years later, they reunite, where the more successful and powerful brother is the samurai in charge, the head, and the black sheep brother is a ninja. So the second installment has the ultimate confrontation between the ninja and his brother, who's now a samurai. And that's the second installment. Third and final story, in a way, centers on World War II. And you have a young pilot who really wants to actually fly, and he's also brave in his own right. The thing is, he is trying to skip a couple of steps. Even though he's a very good mechanic, because his dad, I believe, owned a mechanic shop, or his dad was very good at repairs and his dad's responsible. His dad's trying to impart to his son that if you really want to fly a plane, become a flyboy, you need to actually learn a thing or two about the basics, the fundamentals. So the third story deals with this young pilot. Well, he's trying to learn the fundamentals while in the middle of a very, very tense battle. All of these battles, I did not mention the Predator, right? The Predator obviously plays a big part of each of these anthologies. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. There's fighting amongst the humans in different ages, and then also you get the Predator thrown in as obviously a big part of the mix. What makes Predator, Killer of Killers so special, animation is very immersive, it's very well done, and you're going to be locked in. I was locked in from the get-go. Action's excellent. There's a high rewatchability factor. Since this is an anthology series, essentially, there's 3 stories. You're going to want to probably go back on Hulu and, who knows, maybe rewatch the feudal Japan story if you want to see a lot of swordplay and just a lot of confrontation, and especially confrontation with a predator, right? And if you want maybe just the opening, okay, I said it's going to be spoiler free. The Viking stuff is great. Overall, there's some really great action set pieces on an animation level that you're going to want to actually go back and watch it maybe again and again and again. It's top tier Predator material. I have not seen all of the installments, by the way, but I absolutely fell in love with Predator Killer of Killers. The knockout punch for me is the fact that it is so well written. These anthology stories ultimately tie in, and with each of these chapters, it's the lead of each of the chapters. You care about the main character, you care about actually the characters within each of these stories. And then ultimately, when these stories converge for the final act, and you get to see possibly an opening up of maybe the Predator world and the existence, it'll be really cool. I mean, for me, it everything just wrapped up in a nice little bow. If the final act wasn't there and it was just three individual, disparate, separate stories, Predator Killer of Killers still would have worked as just a formulaic story one, story two, story three. But the fact that Dan Trachtenberg just tied everything together towards an end that's extremely explosive. Final moments are pretty, I don't know, you might be able to guess what's going to happen towards the end of this movie, but it was a shocker to me. So I was really glad that there was a shocking moment toward the end of Predator Killer of Killers. And what's interesting is Prey is not animation. This is an animated film. It'll be interesting to see what Dan Trachtenberg, if he continues to expand the Predator universe, because just from these two films, it reminds me of what Ridley Scott was doing several years back or years back with Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And what is that the name of the movie? Alien Covenant, and just broadening that world. This is akin to that. And I feel the world of Predator is going to continue, if they have the money and if they have the means, it's going to continue to expand, because this is a movie that I think it's going to be hard not to love. It'll be like Prey, roundly adored, and like Prey, people will be watching this on Hulu time and time again. And I think the only complaint from people from Predator Killer of Killers is, like me, they're just gonna want more, whether it's an animated film, whether it's not animated. Yeah, it's. I was blown away by this movie. I'm giving it 5 stars. It's a 5 star on the entertainment level. It hits on the storytelling level, on it being actually resonant and touching at moments, and actually giving some three-dimensional aspects to these killers. High marks for that. And yeah, would love to hear what you guys think of Predator Killer of Killers when you guys see it. I'm assuming on June 6th, a lot of you will be watching it on opening day. Leave your rating and your review over in the video comments. And that's it. Yeah, Predator Killer of Killers. Please see this. Tell me what you think. And thanks for supporting us here over at the CinemAddicts YouTube channel. If you listen to our weekly podcast via this YouTube channel, you will not be getting the commercials that most people who listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatchers, those are with ads. The ones when we run the CinemAddicts Podcast audio here, there are no ads. So anyways, however you listen to our weekly CinemAddicts Podcast, thank you so much. And yes, most importantly, Predator Killer of Killers. How does that stack up with all the other Predator films? How does it stack up to Prey? Leave the comments below, and thanks again for your support. Take care. Bye.